Hi, I'm Nick Baker, a medical Qigong therapist, or someone who specializes in offering movement solutions for many types of chronic pain. If you have fibromyalgia, you probably have as many different words for pain as Eskimos do for snow. Now, fibromyalgia is commonly defined as a condition, a syndrome, where you have pain in all four quadrants of your body, also accompanied by sleeplessness and chronic brain fog. Running alongside this is often autoimmune disorders, irritable bowel syndrome, symptoms, and often much more. It is a syndrome and is often just a catch-all for many types of unknown chronic pain. And sometimes different treatment methods can get widely different treatment results, depending from one patient to the next, which can be aggravating for both doctors and for patients. Think of it instead as 8 different types of pain, or 8 knots, that can all be tied together. And in fact, one fibro patient may have 3 knots tied together, and another may have 3 different knots tied together. This resulting in very different types of pain popping up, and also very different results when different treatment methods are used. So what are the 8 types of pain? Well, let's make it simple and define each by certain markers. So first you've got type 1. Type 1 we mark by floating pains. Now these are types of pains that float around the body from place to place and are often accompanied by pain at the back of the neck, or like really stiff neck and shoulders, or even like a real pain at like the base of the skull, like a headache back there. So this is type 1. It means your immune system's going. Type 2, now this one is marked often by a lot of irritable bowel syndrome type issues or symptoms, meaning you've got a lot of food allergies, a lot of foods make your stomach bloat, particularly like a lot of strange cravings, like really craving sugars, needing soda. There's a few examples, and those are the big ones, and often can be accompanied by this dull, heavy pain. That's almost like when you have a head cold and your head just feels soggy, that kind of muscle pain. This can also be accompanied by pain that gets worse, either of these first two, like let's say when a storm comes through, you can feel it, like in the barometric pressure change, or when the seasons change, when the weather shifts. You're going to feel it for both types 1 and 2. Now, type 3 is marked by sleeplessness, like difficulty getting to sleep, as well as a great deal of stress and anxiety, and often a need to move. So if you have that type of pain where you're like, I have to do those silver sneakers, Zumba, or I just got to get out and move, or I'm going to go crazy, or the pain flares up. When stress and sitting make it worse, this is type 3 pain. This usually means your nitric oxide's all messed up in your body, meaning it's jammed up. You got traffic jams due to inflammation. This is the most common type of knot to be tied. Type 4. Now this one is marked by pain that is worse in the morning and may get better throughout the day, and is often, following old injuries or maybe a car collision, something to that effect. This is where blood is stuck. It's platelet adhesion, where blood may be stuck, wrapped around nerves, blocking off these highways of gases and nutrients and fluids that are nourishing your organs and whatnot. So that's type 4. Now from there's a switch. This is where we get into what's called type 5, mitochondrial myopathy. Now this one, we're going to mark this by extremely low energy. Sometimes waking up in the middle of the night to pee a lot, or waking up with that lower back pain, but in general you might find yourself yawning a whole bunch. You're kind of like a half-filled balloon or a half-filled basketball, and you are just generally, exercise makes things worse. Type 6. Now this one we're getting into, okay, maybe some aspects of the blood are a little off. You might feel like your coolant system is off. Waking up in the middle of the night, really hot and sweaty. Ease of irritability. Maybe start getting brittle nails and brittle hair. Generally almost feeling a little bit like you have PMS all the time. This is going to be type 6. Type 7 is a little more extreme from type 6. This is definitely where your hair and nails are getting brittle. You may feel like you're going through menopause. Lots of hot flashes, dry skin, dry hair, maybe even like you can't sweat anymore. Definitely waking up hot, like you just can't cool down properly, like you're an engine running without enough oil. And finally, type 8, arguably the more rare of the types. This one, it's almost like your body doesn't have a heater. It's the opposite. This is where you feel really cold. There's just not enough oomph. You may have really, ease or susceptibility of getting sick because your body doesn't have the strength to push everything out. This could be potentially accompanied by weight gain, definitely retention of fluids, and probably also that, of course, waking up in the middle of the night, lower back pain, peeing a lot, like waking up constantly throughout the night to have to go pee. These are all within the realm of type 8. So the first 4 are generally you have too much of something. The last 4, you have not enough of something. And you can have knots tied up from both, right? Much like if there is long-term construction on a freeway, right? That's a blockage. You have too much traffic. But all the businesses around it suffer because cars don't want to go there or aren't able to get there. So they start essentially going out of business. This can happen within your body, with your organs and other associated systems. And that's how some of these knots can get tied together. Now you may be looking at these and checking off on a checklist. You might say, I have all of these. Well, yes, you might. And in fact, it's common to start with one type, one knot that's tied together, and have others glom on. In fact, the more chronic the condition, the more knots are going to be tied together in there. And so this is how you can go from, I might start with type 3, and then a few years down the road, as symptoms get worse and worse and worse, you might have 5, 6, or even 8 types tied together. So in general, for treatment, just start with the lowest number and work with that first, meaning if you have types 1, 3, and 8 all tied together, and you can see that from that list that I put up, okay, start with type 1. Let's start working on that first, and then type 3, and then let's go on to type 5 and build that up. So once you notice that, for like type 1, the floating pains stop, that's a good time to go to a different stage. Type 2, you can digest things properly, and that heavy, kind of bloated, weight-gainy, water retention goes and starts to fade. Time for the next stage. Type 3, when you can sleep. All right, you're making progress. When you can actually relax, that's a huge progress. Type 4, when that pain early in the morning starts to shift, that's great. For types 5 through 8, generally just keep working at those. That's just going to strengthen your body overall throughout the period of time. You can just start adding more gradually, reinvesting that new energy into more. So just start with the lowest number and work your way up. This is a very brief overview on the 8 types of pain. Check out my other videos on more solutions for chronic pain and for more tips in general, and appreciate it. Sign up, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and share the good word. The whole purpose of this is to get tools out there so that everyone has access to them, so that you can affect your health and even the health of others. So again, thanks for watching.